and it translates into success. Gosh, we've had $74 billion of capital committed to Virginia in the last 2.5 years, 240,000 more people working in the last 2.5 years. Success is, I think, the proof of a lot of hard work, and it's an honor to be here with you.
And it's good to have you. Let me ask you about, you talked about the General Assembly, and you have divided government here. And one of the things, I want to give you a chance to respond, as I know you have before, to Ted Leonsis, who said that it's easier to do business in D.C.
Can you hear me? Let me know. Can you guys hear me? Can hear what? Can you hear me, fool? What is going on, guys? So, eek. All right. Huh. This happened yesterday. 1 second. Properties. Cool. All right, you should be able to see my screen now. So CPI comes out in 12 minutes. Now, here's what we're expecting from CPI. Let me just pull this up. Here is what we are expecting for CPI. 3.1% we're expecting, as you can see here. 3.1% year over year is what we're expecting for CPI, or what they're forecasting for CPI. Now, if you look at this, and I've talked about this before, CPI in and of itself is not really that important. Now, why do I say that? Because if we look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 CPIs, only 2 came in below expectations, 2 came in at expectations, and 6 came in above expectations, right? And this essentially goes back to the CPIs starting in September 2023. October 2023 was the start of this impressive historic bull rally that we've had in the markets, right? This is why I say it doesn't really matter from a market perspective, as long as the thinking is that the Fed is going to cut rates this year. Now, is the Fed going to cut rates this year? We can look at the FOMC watch tool here. And by the way, the last 2 days of price action, atrocious, huh? Atrocious, the last 2 days of price action. But atrocious price action does not mean that we lose our ass in the market, right? We still practice proper risk management and minimize losses if we even take a loss. Which on yesterday's stream, I took a loss on a futures trade. It was like $200 and something. Unfortunately, and this was, my live reaction was caught on stream. There was a glitch in my copier / NinjaTrader where the leader account closed, but the follower accounts did not. And so I didn't realize it until later that the trade was still open on some of the accounts. So, all right. If we look at the FOMC watch tool now, the likelihood is that we get a cut in September. Okay. This is likely because all of the central banks around the world have also cut. So we got a cut out of the ECB. We got a cut out of the Bank of Canada, whatever it's called, the Royal Maple Leaf Bank. I don't know what it's called. And we got, I believe we got a cut out of the Bank of England. We did not get a cut out of the Fed yet. Now, historically, here's what's interesting. Historically is the Fed doesn't cut unless the system starts breaking, right? Or, which has never happened before, inflation gets back to 2%. Now, we know that the way that inflation is calculated now is unlike the way that inflation was calculated before, which is why they can tell us that inflation is, growing at a lower rate of 3 point something percent, but it still feels like shit is mad expensive, right? And this is why tipping culture is getting out of hand, by the way, right? Companies are passing on the higher costs to keep people on board. They're passing on that burden onto the consumer. Now, I'm not against tipping at all, but you can go in and buy a fucking ice cream cone and it will ask if you want to tip 20%, right? I do it anyway because I feel bad for the workers, but the reason that you're seeing that is that's a result of inflation, where tipping culture now is just 20%, 25% for anything. You could buy a candy bar and they'll ask you if you want a tip, right? So anyway, all that is to say that the way that inflation is calculated now is unlike how it was historically calculated, and it is definitely incentivized to make the number look less. That's a whole other discussion. But with regards to the market, right, in my view, with regards to the market, the market is expecting that the Fed cuts in September. So if there is, if CPI comes in and supports that expectation that the Fed cuts in September, then I believe that we will get another rally. We will continue to rally. Now, it doesn't mean that we will rally today exactly. I have to look at what liquidity levels are breached. Oh shit, I forgot to announce this real quick. Hold on. Live now. Live now. My bad. Right? I can't tell you, nobody can tell you ahead of time what's going to happen with CPI, obviously. And nobody can tell you ahead of time whether it's going to go up or down. For me, I wait for the reaction and I see what liquidity levels are breached, right? So right now we are taking out Asia low, as you can see here. And shout out to the Mastermind students. We had session 1, Mastermind 7, session 1 yesterday, where we went over liquidity, how to draw liquidity, how to identify liquidity, what liquidity means, how to mark up your chart in the morning, etc. But this right here is Asia low, okay? So we took Asia low. We obviously have a whole bunch of imbalances below, right? So it doesn't, what the hell did I just do? We obviously have a whole bunch, 4 minutes to CPI, guys. We obviously have a whole bunch of imbalances below here. So Asia low doesn't have to be the draw. Obviously, if CPI disappoints and comes in much higher than expected and breaks the narrative that we can cut in September, the market could definitely, wow, look at this clown. Absolute clown show. The market could definitely drop to fill some of these imbalances. If you look on the higher time frame, you could see that there are a bunch of higher time frame imbalances down here, right? You even have this 4-hour fair value gap down here. So for me, I don't try to guess what is going to happen. I believe that is a suicidal exercise, trying to guess beforehand. It's just a gamble, right? And by the way, like you've seen the videos of people in trades, the way that CPI, NFP, FOMC, the way that works, it just takes out stops on both ends, hunting for liquidity, right? All right, let me say what's up to y'all before we get CPI in 3 minutes. And hit that thumbs up so that other people can find the stream. There's 600 people here, 100 likes. Embarrassing, guys, embarrassing. And if you missed it, I did a full ICT free course on YouTube. It was my last video, so make sure y'all watch that. If you're trying to learn how to trade and fast track your ICT learning. Surf, Slim, Lewis, Serrano, Muhammad, Tony, Aram, Mike Sanchez, not financial advice, Wonder Bear, Baron, Chris Garcia, Ben Heem, Zen Black, interesting. Duan, Douglas, what's going on, guys? Romazay, what's going on, bro? Imran, Nick, D, Jambear, M, John, 77, what's going on, guys? Jasmine, Katya, Nunn, Jixer, what's going on, bro? Uptown Chris, Mondi, MJ. All right, guys. So 1 minute until CPI. Let's see what they say. And we'll monitor the reaction in real time. And I likely won't take a trade until things settle, maybe 9-ish. 9-ish. I'm guessing around there. Let's see. Oh, I really want to long this so bad. Oh my God. If you guys are familiar with my models, and I went over my entry models in the last video, you know why I would want to long this so bad. Can't do it, bro.
We're just seconds away from June CPI and initial jobless claims. The futures right now, you can see down just fractionally this morning, but that's unusual. Rick Santelli, in recent sessions, Rick Santelli standing by at the CME in Chicago.
Oh my God.
Can't believe it, Rick. Illinois is not
Bro,
the best state for business.
You would have been done with your day.
So shocking. Well, maybe next year, right? All right, we are now looking at the wires. Hot numbers coming out. June CPI down 0.1% on headline, down 0.1%. That would equal where we were on May of 2020. To find a lower number, you have to go to April of 2020 when it was at its extreme of -0.8. So that is the first time we've had a minus sign there. That's actually deflation, not necessarily disinflation. Now, if you strip out the all-important food and energy, it's up 0.1, up 0.1. That's a little cooler than we were expecting. Up 0.1 would be the lightest going back to January of 21. In August of 21, you would have equaled up 0.1. Now, let's look at year over year. Year over year has been a bit lower in the past, and now it equals that level. 3%, 3%. 3% equals that low I was referencing before I saw the data, which was June of 2023. To find a smaller number, you're going to March of 21 when it was 2.6. If you look at year-over-year core, 3.3%. Our last look was 3 years, more than 3 years at the lowest level of 3.4. So 3.3 will hold that moniker. It is also the lightest level going back to April of 21. Now let's look at claims, shall we? Initial claims, 222,000. That's minus 17,000 from the revised 239,000. 222,000 is the smallest initial claims since the third week in May. And finally, on continuing claims, it is now up for above 1.8 million for the fifth consecutive week, 1,852,000, and that, of course, comps to last week when it was 1,856,000, and that would have comped back all the way to, you're going back to November of 21. So we obviously see interest rates moving lower. That 10-year was hovering right around 4.28. It's now hovering at 4.19. It's going to be very important to see which side of 4.25 it closes at, even though it's well below that level right now. And if you look at a 2-year note, it's at 4.51. It's been holding above 4.60. We want to pay attention to that as well. We see that the pre-opening equities have zoomed up. They are now in positive territory from minus 60-ish on the Dow futures to now up over 90 points. So we see this goes a long way for potentially that September rate cut, even though many may be pointing towards July. I personally don't think that's in the cards, but one never knows. It certainly seems as though Jay Powell now has two issues that he can point to for potentially easing. Inflation getting closer to his target, but still not there. And, of course, the new wild card he pulled out, that no matter what inflation does, it's a lot lower than it was, came down a lot last year, and he's now nervous about the labor market. And we can point to the two pillars of maximum employment, stable prices, and then that outlier pillar that maybe isn't quite a pillar, moderate long-term rates. Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Join us now for more on the new inflation data. Wendy Edelberg, an economic studies senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. Joe Lavorgna, chief economist at SMBC Nikko Securities America. September. I'm counting on it, Wendy. September.
5 now.
Cut? Yeah.
I mean, I think the next meeting's on the table.
You do?
I do. I mean, they don't like to surprise markets, and so that would mean it's not. But if it weren't for that, this is fantastic news. Core CPI over the last 3 months came in at 2.2% at an annual rate. The labor market is at a sustainable pace. Consumer spending has slowed, even as real incomes have risen. I think the economy is in a great place, and the Fed should absolutely be considering cutting right away.
Would that look, I've argued both, more or less political if they did it even earlier?
That is way outside my lane.
I was thinking September's too late because it doesn't help the economy, but it does look like an easy. July could even be better because it actually might help the economy between now and the election.
I have absolutely no doubt that the Fed does not have this on.
All right, so for those of you that are just tuning in, inflation came in lower than expected, but more importantly, month over month came in negative, meaning that is deflation for the first time since May 2020. Minus 0.1% versus plus 0.1% expected. Even core was a little bit cooler year over year, 2.2%. And the headline CPI came in at 3% versus 3.1%. So I'm not surprised now that they're talking about cutting in July. I personally don't think that they are going to be cutting in July. Obviously, August, we have Jackson Hole, and the Fed is not meeting in August. The next meeting after July is September. September is still on the books here. Man, I wish I would have longed that. Not because of CPI data. I'm just saying it gave me my setup, right? So it gave me my liquidity sweep here, and then confirmed with an inverted gap. If you look at the 5-minute, we closed above this fair value gap here. This is one of my favorite morning setups. And if it wasn't CPI, I would have taken it for sure. But I don't trade on the news. Now, what could happen here, we are dealing with all-time high territory, right? So what could happen here, we don't have a reference for how high this can go. But obviously, we've seen counter reactions on CPI day, meaning we think it's supposed to be good data and the market turns red, or you think it's supposed to be bad data and the market turns green, right? And you don't get the real move until a day or two later. So would I be surprised that the market gave back some of these gains here on really good news, right? No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And it would set up for potentially a Friday TGIF play, right? Where it's just the type of Friday where you wake up and long the highs. I mean, sorry, yeah, you wake up and basically long the open, right? Or you short the VIX or both, which would have worked, I think, on 80% of the Fridays this year, if not more, right? But yeah, whoever was asking if you should short gold, that's kind of nuts. I wonder why you're asking that. I would be very curious, Mr. Derp, why you're trying to short gold on a day where data came in super hot and rates got slammed. If you look at rates, and the play that I definitely missed, the swing trade that I missed the most was longing the 10-year treasury. But if you look at the 10-year yield, this is the lowest that it's been since March of 2024, right? We hit a low of 4.183. So with dropping rates, that means that the dollar drops. With the dollar dropping, that means that gold rallies, right? So I'm curious why in God's name you're thinking of shorting gold here. USD already recovering? Yeah, of course, you're going to see a recovery from a huge reactionary move, of course. Even the 10-year is recovering, right? There's a little wick that you see down here. With that said, I wonder how the Fed funds futures, if they've changed at all. Let's see. It was 68% for September. Now it's 66% for September, and for July. Well, you know, obviously this data is going to get updated later in the day, but I'd be curious whether there's expectations, rising expectations for a July cut. And if you look at September now, there's only a 30% likelihood based on sentiment that the Fed will remain at this rate. So the highest probability is a cut in September. And after today's data came out, I could see, like me, I didn't expect a cut until November being the first cut. And now I for sure think the Fed is going to cut. There was a time when potentially the Fed wouldn't cut this year, but I think that time is over. I think the Fed is cutting this year. And my target was November, but it definitely looks like September, especially if we get another print next month and we get below that 3% on headline. Is it too late to get into the Russell 2000? I don't know what too late means. Depends on what you mean by too late. But I told you guys that the Russell 2000, I told you on not yesterday's live stream, the live stream before, that the Russell 2000 would break out. And I believe the Russell 2000 is going back to all-time highs for sure. Before a rate cut, right? You have this extreme coiling here. But I don't know what too late means. Like, what do you mean? You're trying to day trade it? You're trying to get into it for a month? I don't know what you mean. They need the economy to be strong into the elections. I think that's bullshit. If they cut, inflation has opportunity to start upticking again. Why wouldn't it? If they cut, inflation has the opportunity to start ticking up again. Why wouldn't it? Yeah, obviously, that is the concern. So I personally don't think they're going to cut in July. I think it's now a possibility they cut in September. I think a certainty they cut in November. Long-term investing. If you're long-term investing, how is this too late? Honest thoughts on longing PayPal. I dumped it yesterday. Good job. When is the optimal time to buy TLT? If you guys are in the Discord, you would know already. I did a full analysis on bonds. And I'm super bullish on bonds going into 25 and 26. Would you short the airline stocks now because of bad Delta earnings report? No, dude. I thought your narrative was that they would only cut if something breaks. My narrative is that data says they will only cut if something breaks. Yes. Do you still want to start to exit the market around the first cut? Ideally, yes. Bought a ton of TMF and TLT ahead of this. Hell yeah. Someone was listening. I already sent out my alert for bonds. I don't think it's too late to get into bonds for long-term investing. If we know a cut in September, how long till curve corrects itself? I don't know what that means. OMG. EJ just dropped 200 pips. The fuck is EJ? Why is oil not going up if we're on the golden path and Fed about to cut? Wow, you guys are coming through with the questions today. Not sure why you think oil is going to go up. Just because of the data that was just released. Is buying TMF worth it for 1 year? Counting all the, I don't know, is it worth it to you? I don't know you, dude. I don't know what your risk tolerance is like. How will this affect rates? I just talked about this, bro. Is it true CPI month over month went from 0.1% to negative 0.1% because I stopped buying cake? Yeah, I think it's because you stopped buying cake. Your cake purchases have a separate line item at the Economic Bureau. Market crash coming in 2025. I don't know. See, this, like when you look at the market, right? When you look at the SPY or QQQ, I think this is something that people don't get. When it continues to go up like this, they think it's too high, it should drop, right? Obviously, look at it over the long term, going back 100 years. You're much better off betting on rallies most of the time, right? More money is lost trying to bet on a downturn than made in the downturn itself. You're much better off staying invested. If you look at something like, if you look at something like Disney, for instance, right? If you look at its long-term price, Disney was trading in the 60s, it was trading at 21 cents. If you told someone in the 60s that Disney would hit 200 from 21 cents, they would think you're crazy. If you told someone in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, that we would have 6 to 7 $1 trillion companies, they would have thought you were crazy. But this is how inflation works over time, right? Things get, like if you told someone in the 70s when the median rent was like $100 a month, if you told them that you're paying $4,000 for rent, they would think you're nuts. That type of exponential multiplication just seems out of the realm of possibility, right? So when you're looking at Tom Lee that says, you know, in 10 years or whatever, the S&P 500 is going to be worth 15,000 instead of 5,000. People think he's crazy, but the S&P, back when I was an adult, right? I was fucking in my late 20s when the S&P was worth 600 and change. And now it's worth 5,000. So going from 5,000 to 15,000 is much less of a stretch than going from 600 to 5,000. Anyway, that's my rant about investing. So when you're trying to predict a market crash, you're much better off investing in corrections and crashes than trying to predict a crash. I never try to predict a crash. I don't care to, right? If a crash happens, then I'm getting ready to buy. That's the real play. That's the real cheat code, is being able to buy in corrections and recessions and downturns and bear markets. That's the real cheat code, not predicting a crash. That's for the fucking birds. There's many times when the market gets toppy like this that I get nervous. I'm human, right? I'm human. So I get nervous when I see this, of course. But over the long term, you're much better off deploying cash in downturns than you are trying to short this or something. All right. Yes, I do think bonds are good investment in my view now. I think they were a terrible investment for the last 3 years. I think they're a good investment now, and they could potentially provide double-digit returns for 2025, 2026 as rates come down and the value of bonds go up. So you're locking in the rates now. See, this is what people don't understand, right? When you look at, let's just say a 10-year treasury. So if you go to a 10-year treasury, oops. And I'm going to get into trades because I definitely want to trade this. Actually, you know what? Let me just look at the markets real quick. Oh, nice. We have a bullish breaker right here inside this fair value gap. That right there is a bullish breaker. If we confirm on the lower time frames, I really want to long this. Wait, do we have any more data? Hang on, let me not get clipped. Hold on. $10:30 we have natural gas, and then the clown show begins at 11:30 with Bostic and what? Mausoleum. Oh, Musallam. And then the 30-year bond auction at 1. Okay, so we don't have any news in the morning up until natural gas storage. If you're joining just now, month-over-month CPI came in at negative 0.1% versus 0.1% expected. Year-over-year came in, I like this long here. I just needed to confirm on the lower time frames. This is why you switch time frames, and this is something that we teach in the mastermind, right? This was yesterday's high, which is also a breaker, which is also in this fair value gap. And we're also in a macro right now, the 850 macro. What is ES doing? Same thing. It has the same exact setup. Almost. It doesn't have a breaker right there. NQ is the one with the breaker. I really want to long this, guys. I just need confirmation on the lower time frame. So NQ took out Asia. I mean, ES took out Asia. NQ didn't. We also have equal lows at London. This right here is London. Now, because ES took it, we technically did take London on NQ. So far, we're respecting the 5-minute breaker, and we also have a BPR in here. But this needs to be respected for me to want a long here. Does Tesla break 266? I'll get into Tesla in a minute. What does that mean? I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. What does what mean? I said like 100 things in the last 5 minutes. Can you please do TA on TMF? No. TMF is a leverage ETF. You don't do TA on leverage ETFs. And I'll show you why in a second. It's crazy that people just buy leverage ETFs because they hear it on YouTube videos and they don't understand the implications of a leverage ETF. We do have a slight bullish SMT divergence here, but I need confirmation to long this. I have gotten clapped trading them. I didn't know what the heck I was doing at the time. You mean leverage ETFs? Yeah, you can for sure get clapped. I think, yeah, this is definitely setting up for a potential long here. And you see we have bullish divergence with ES creating a, so there's a lot of things going on here. We're retesting the 830 open, right? There's a higher low on ES, and that same thing made a lower low on NQ. We have the 5-minute breaker, which is still respected. We have the 5-minute BPR down here, which we bounced off of. And we're in a macro. So if we can close above this, I will likely look for longs here. If not, then we have a whole bunch of, like the 1 hour, you know, looks like a big PO3. But if not, then I think in the day, later in the day. So my thesis is that if that confirms, you know, there's a bullish play to be had there to go back to data highs. If not, the next level down where I'll be seeking liquidity is this level here. And on the S&P 500 would be this basically this level here. But we need to confirm this. Otherwise, there's no trade. Like there's a whole bunch of nice things down here, but we need to confirm it for sure. And now we have another SMT divergence, bullish SMT divergence between ES and NQ, where ES made a lower low and NQ made a higher low. But we need confirmation here. Now, obviously, you can try to front run this if you wanted to, but you're probably better off today just waiting. You know, if you wanted to front run something like this, with a, you know, 11, 12 point stop, that's fine. It's not the worst trade in the world, but I would much rather wait here for confirmation. This could be it. There's a tiny 1 minute gap here. Yeah, I'm taking a first entry here. Not a convincing close. I would have much rather closed heavily above that. So for that reason, we might come back down here. All right, so the one thing I don't like about this so far is that the 3-minute failed to close above this. The 1 minute gave an entry. The 1 minute gave an entry, but the 3-minute hasn't yet closed above. So I'm willing to take this trade here. Oh, you know what? 910, 920. I don't want to be in this when the market opens. I'm going to leave it there for now and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it as is. Would have much rather had a close above the 3-minute. That would have made me more comfortable, but we took liquidity in this fair value gap coming down to this fair value gap, where we also have the 1 minute. But yeah, I think we need a close above this 3-minute for me to feel 100% comfortable with the trade. I'm still going to stay in it, but what were we saying? Tesla? What do you want me to look at on Tesla? Where's the thing? Opinion on Tesla? That's all you're asking me? You have my opinion on Tesla, dude. I made tons of videos on Tesla. I don't know what else you want me to say about Tesla, but you already have my many, 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 many opinions on Tesla. All right, we need a bounce off of this gap here. Making all-time highs breakout? What, Tesla? No, we're not even close. All-time highs like 410. Maybe we range the rest of the day. I doubt it. What do you think of Palantir? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a momentum stock that will continue to be one. Buying Palantir puts? I probably wouldn't. Not with this type of momentum. Look at gold. Let's see. Yeah, gold is in this daily VI here. It does have some daily imbalances up here that it could go up and fill. Why is Apple down? What are you talking about? This is Apple. It's at all-time highs. We need to close above this. Apple's down because of gravity. Eduardo Gonzalez says. Very smart Isaac Newton joke. Love it. I love nerd jokes. So on this trade, I'm up 300 and change in my personal. Remember, I also trade real money. 425 now. 455. I also trade real money. I don't just trade prop. I take every A+ trade, I take it in both. If it's not an A+ trade, I might take it in one over the other, but need to close above this 3-minute, this pesky fucking 3-minute gap here. It's adding to position here? No. ES looks clean too, surprisingly. What I'll do at market open, if this rallies some more, at market open, I'll move my stop to break even. Actually, even right now, I can move my stop up because there's if you treat this as a new trade, right? And say you took it from the 3-minute fair value gap, your stop would be here, not where I have it. So I can move my stop up to accommodate a new trade, right? The way when I add contracts. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. We're up 500 and change on this. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. Hold on, 20. Up 220 now in the prop. Uh, 2930. If you want to take profits, I'm just gonna let it play out. But yeah. This right here that we are retesting. What is this shit that we are retesting actually? Oh, the breaker. That's right. That's right. That's right. We had the 5-minute breaker there. Why it's not moving? Do me a favor and log off the stream and close your trading account, bro. Do me a favor. What was the secret? Oh, what I was saying is a lot of people ask me, like, when do you add contracts? And it's when like, say you enter a setup, right? Like I entered off of, say, I entered off of an imbalance down here, and the closure of this IFVG, right? Don't enter another contract unless along the way it creates a trade setup that you would enter on its own. Does that make sense? So if I entered based on a trade setup down here, and then now, for instance, it creates this 3-minute fair value gap, and I would enter a long off of here, you can consider that like a new trade. And that's when I would add a contract. All right, still up 600 and change on the live account. I might close one of these before market open. Haven't decided which one yet. I haven't had an issue with payouts. No. What's holding it back is ES here. Midday rug pull. I don't know what that means. You a coffee guy? How do you like your coffee? Yes, black. I'm adding in the 905s. I would if it wasn't market open. Like if this was like a 9:50 a.m. macro, then I would. I personally wouldn't add here. But everyone's got their own risk tolerance, you know what I mean? And if my stop gets taken out, then I'm not going to re-enter until market opens. Because I think I can find a setup. I think I can find a setup after market opens. Yeah, this is what I was saying. I wouldn't add here just yet. I'd wait until the market opens before adding. Nike filling the 2020 gap it left during the crash. Yes, I like Nike here. I don't think it's going to rally significantly in the short term, but I do like it for the long term. Took a short on copper. Let's see copper. From what level? That's a nice trade. I don't track copper enough to know exactly when to trade it. Can your lifetime membership be discounted a bit? No. I gave you guys an entire month. All right, market's about to open in 1 minute. What the fuck is going on with my account? Divergence between NQ and ES. Oh, yeah. Crazy thing is still respecting that breaker. Let's see what happens here. NQ is much heavier than ES, which already took out Asia and London. Have to let this base first before making any moves here. Is Enki your favorite to day trade? Yes. Sells only. I wouldn't short this or long it just yet. I'm going to set an alert here, actually. I want to see what price does if it gets here. SMT divergence is still in play. This 5-minute BPR is still in play. The 5-minute breaker from back here is still in play. We just need confirmation. What do you think of ARM at this price point? Let me guess. It's at all-time highs, and so you're asking. Just a wild guess. Yep, it's at all-time highs, and so you're asking. Best of luck to you, bro. Only here because Patrick is in Hawaii? I don't even know what the fuck that means. What does Hawaii have to do with this? And who's Patrick? Your mom's boyfriend? The fuck is Patrick? Your mom's boyfriend let you get on the computer today? Because he's in Hawaii? I don't know. I think Patrick's his mom's boyfriend. And since his mom's boyfriend is in Hawaii, he let him get on his little crusty laptop today. He insults his guests? I mean, I don't know. I don't watch this guy that you speak of, but I'll say this, okay, about the YouTube crowd. Most people are cool, right? Most people are very nice. Most people are respectful. Most people want to learn. Most people acknowledge that you're just here, you know, on your own time, trading in front of people, etc. But there are some people that are absolute clowns. And they insult you, they take shots, you know, they root against your trades, etc. They may talk about your appearance, all that. And I'm for that, whatever. Talk shit. But those same people, when they're dishing out insults and they get insulted, they start crying. So I don't know about this Patrick guy, but my guess is if somebody's insulting their guests, as you put it, and this is happening on YouTube, it's probably that. I'm willing to venture out to venture and guess that these insults come after, people insult first. I've been on YouTube for a long time, so just a guess. Is there a day trade to the upside on Tesla? I'll look at it. I'll look at it. Right now, I'm still looking at a potential long on NQ. One second. Is it safe to say a chalk is like a liquidity sweep? No. Z, TLT making moves. I know. I alerted TLT. Did you close your toss trade? Yes. Let me look at Tesla real quick. I really don't want to miss a 950 potential move on NQ. And it's crazy because ES is just consolidating here. Still, right? Still ES with the higher low. And NQ falling below London. Now this is a liquidity sweep here. I wish we created a gap here. This looks like a potential turtle soup long. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the liquidity right there. What's this? I'm gonna wait until that initial area that I had drawn right here on the 5-minute. I'm gonna wait until that is confirmed above. I don't need to front run another trade. All right, let me look. I have an alert up there set up. Is there a day trade on Tesla? Wow, up 1.7%. I was saying that there were 1 million calls at the 270 level taken 2 minutes before market open yesterday, market close yesterday. Wild. I currently don't see a day trade on Tesla, no. There might be one on Nvidia. Wow, market's only been open. It seems like market's been open for so long. Market's only been open for 20 minutes. There might be one on Nvidia, depending on what happens after this. So that's a pre-market low sweep right there. But you essentially want to see it break structure and retrace. So keep your eye out on NVIDIA here. Don't front run it. Just keep your eye out on it. Because this right here might be a sweep. Obviously, price can keep going down. So we need it to confirm above this. Yeah, NQ looks heavy. It might be due for a PM run if we can grab more of this liquidity down here, which in all intents and purposes, that's what it looks like it's going to do. So no longs for me just yet, right? Like this looks like a PO3 consolidation manipulation, and then a potential move to down here. I don't mind the trade that I took earlier, and it was up quite a bit anyway, but I decided not to take profit on it. So close that for a small loss. The next trade I take has to be A plus. So I cannot long the indices here. Plus, if you see what's happening to ES is what basically, what basically my NQ trade was based off of. Plus, when the indices are decoupled, not when there's slight divergence, but completely decoupled, you do not want to trade, right? So you want to wait until they snap back into shape. So for me, not going to take a trade yet on the indices until they snap back. Well, and now that I say that, it's already moving down into the level I was eyeing. I'm going to set an alert at CE of this 4-hour fair value gap too. Yeah, Tesla, I don't see a day trade. NVIDIA, like I said, keep monitoring it. I think there could be a potential day trade here, but we need it to give us a market structure break. I think this will continue down. until the 1 hour and or 4 hour are mitigated. AMD looks interesting. AMD looks like could be setting up for a long. Man, there's nothing I want to trade here. I want to check out RTY and gold real quick. Like I said, the Russell is something that I'm definitely bullish on. Oh, it did break out nicely out of that coil. Yeah, I think this is the beginning of the Russell's breakout. I think it'll break out, and I think it will beat this double top that you see here, and eventually go to all-time highs. On what? Check. Market structure buy model. On what? Check. Market structure buy model on what? What are you talking about? Oh, what I'm looking at? Yeah. I mean, honestly, market structure is still lower highs and lower lows. Like we didn't get any market structure shift on NQ 3 minute. But if we close above this, oh, I might take another trade. The setup is forming now. Could be. Everyone has a different entry model. But I think the next thing that's going to run from a stock perspective is IWM. See, this is why I'm saying you got to wait for that to confirm. The reason is there's still quite a bit down here that could be mitigated, right? We didn't even take CE of the 4 hour. Not that it's necessary. Oh, there's an RTH gap here too. Completely decoupled. Guys, I don't recommend you trade the indices today. Yet. Look at this. So when the 5-minute ES looks like this and the 5-minute NQ looks exactly the opposite, I do not recommend you trade today. Not the indices. I mean, find something else to trade. Until they get back in sync. That's my recommendation. Yeah, no trades for me on NQ or ES right now. I bet you by today, you'll see a lot of volume on IWM for today's candle. But I think this breaks out and starts shooting for that 240 level over the summer. US 30 is respecting turtle soup. Dude, I would not trade. Oh, you're talking about US 30 would be what we call YM. I'll look at YM. The only thing that looked good to me from a day trade perspective was AMD. And lo and behold, it is now breaking out. But I think AMD can get to pre-market highs around 187. What good setups you see other than SoFi? What do you mean? I didn't talk about SoFi. What's going on, Regine? Wong, Michael Jones, what's going on? Yeah, I think AMD is a buy here for sure for the day. I think it will continue to go up to around that 186, 187 level. From a day trading perspective, that's the only equity I like here. Tesla, man. I told you those 275 calls. $275 calls came in yesterday, right before market close. I tweeted this out too. If you're not following me on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. Man, Meta looks like it might go higher too. There could be a day trade on Meta. The high time frame narrative confirms that that could be the case. So if you look at the 4-hour, we are digging into this 4-hour fair value gap. But you need to see it confirm, just like I showed you with AMD. You need to see this confirm above. You see how AMD did it? So don't go longing Meta just yet, but monitor it. Monitor it and see if it can get a market structure break above. But on the 4-hour, we are digging into this 4-hour fair value gap. I am going to be likely sending out some more alerts for stocks today. My CEO just got replaced. Where do you work? Boeing? Any thoughts on INTC? Thoughts and prayers? I think AMD blows past 200 as earnings approach. Over the coming days, yeah. Are you going live on YouTube every day? Only every day this week, but I go live in the Discord every day. If I went live on YouTube every day, I don't know, man. I would lose my hair. Did you talk about TLT TMF? I talked about TLT TMF way before this. Okay, this looks like it's setting up maybe. I don't like trading with the super decoupling here. Oh man. YM is taking a major buy side liquidity area as well. There's a lot going on right now. The question is, do I want to trade any of it? Sheesh. Yeah, now ES wants to fall. Wait until the indices sync up again, guys, before taking another trade. That might happen in the PM session. Preserving capital is more important than making money on trades. Remember that. SPY calls just got wrecked. Why would you be in SPY calls? What is your Discord? Check the link in the description. What hours do you go live in the Discord? In the morning, market open. Market open, ladies and gentlemen, market open. Meta's not there yet, guys. Don't front run this. Meta's not there yet. NQ going for previous low of the day. Let's see. Previous low of the day would be here. But sir, even if it does, man, I should have taken that short that I was talking about. I should have taken that short off the 3 minute. Shorts printed. No shit, bro. No shit. And the sky is blue, and I just saw a rat on my way to get coffee in New York. Kevin Jordan, appreciate you, my guy. Thank you, man. Thank you for your donation to St. Jude's, man. NVIDIA short? What is up with these obvious plays, dude? NVIDIA's down 3.3%. Don't short the lows. All right, we filled the RTH gap on NQ. As you can see here, we filled the RTH gap. And took out yesterday's low at the same time. That is a major, major liquidity sweep. Super reluctant to trade. Well, actually, no. So ES is they're finally somewhat coupled, more coupled than they were before, right? Because, oh yeah, ES took out, no, it didn't take out yesterday's low. Holy shit. Oh. Previous week low at 640s. Oh, previous week high. Previous week high 2639.50. Correct. But I don't think that's necessary. Oh. Oh my God, I was just looking at this. Oh, I was just looking at the fucking Dow, and I said it took a major buy-side liquidity area. Fuck. I don't think we get up here on a day like today. Oh my God, that hurts. What's the ticker for NQ that everyone's referencing? NQ. iShop said, you said call, I shorted it. The fuck channel are you watching? I'm not even trading options, moron. What do you mean I said calls? I didn't say calls on anything. Do you even see me trading an option? I swear to God, bro. I love most of you, but some people that pop on here casually, I don't know. Like this dumb shit said, you said calls, and I shorted it. One, I'm not even in a long. Two, I'm not even trading options, moron. The fuck? I didn't say calls on NVIDIA. I said watch NVIDIA if it breaks above pre-market high. Same thing with Meta. I said watch it if it breaks above pre-market high. Dumb shit coming on here trying to flex. Bro, look, just because your mom tells you you're handsome doesn't mean you really are. Just because she tells you you're smart doesn't mean you really are. That's what moms are supposed to say. All right? So go out in the real world, take a walk in the street, and see if anybody actually thinks you're handsome or smart. Like, talk shit the way that you're doing here. Go out in the street and just try that with someone. Find someone that looks like me and try doing that too. And see if that person will give you the same compliments that your mom gives you. All right? Just because she licks her hand and pats down your little cowlick in your hair and says, "Oh, you look so handsome today. What's your dumbass name?" iShop. iShop, you look so handsome today, iShop. You're the most handsome boy I've ever seen in my life. And you're the smartest boy I've ever seen in my life. I'm handsome. My wife told me that. All right. Your wife's a different story. You gotta, if your wife tells you you're handsome, you gotta listen to her. Days like today, if you guys joined the stream at 8:30 a.m. and I said, man, I really just want to long this here. 100-point candle in 1 minute would have been done with the day. Sometimes I wish I was irresponsible and I traded news. June House said, what if my mom didn't say I was handsome or smart? Oh my God. I doubt we get back up here. But if we do, I really want to short this. We have to stick to the rules. You're right. You're right. Are you invested in CMG? I sent out my analysis on CMG the other day. So let me find it. So the last 3 analyses that I sent out was Celsius, Nike, CMG, and then obviously Tesla, which I've been tracking in the Discord since like 150. Those are the last few things that I sent out. But yeah, I did a full deep dive on CMG. I think we're going to be setting up for PM longs. So my thesis is in the PM session, so we took out previous day's low. We closed the RTH gap. I believe ES closed the RTH gap too. Let me see. Oh no, shit. Still heavily decoupled. In that case, what could happen here? Price could keep going down until ES mitigates the same thing that NQ did. In which case, I think tomorrow will be almost certainly a blind long day. Or we reverse in the PM session. Man, I really want to long this off this fair value gap. I might take one more crack at a trade here. Since we're still like an hour and a half before lunch. If this turns out to be the liquidity for the day, What time is it? 10:30. I wonder if we take out these lows in this tiny fair value gap here. Ugh, man, thank God I'm not trading this shit. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take a trade today, guys. Until PM session. Yeah, we can't even confirm closes above like tiny 3-minute fair value gaps. This is not these aren't conditions to trade in. There might be a short on Tesla. There's absolutely nothing I like here. I'm in long from 2670, TP 2750. I don't know that I would long this just yet. This doesn't look like a long to me, bro. QQQ and SPY are in lockstep. QQQ is down 1%. SPY is down 0.3%. Oh yeah. Um, all right, guys. I'm gonna look for a PM trade, and I'll send it out in the Discord if I take it. There's really nothing that I want to trade here with this kind of price action. I do think we'll either get a nice long in the PM session or a nice long setup for tomorrow. I do like IWM as a stock. I mean, I have bought it prior to this. It was one of the stocks that we bought in November of last year. But, breaking out of this again, I think we finally get a rotation into IWM based on this here. Yeah, we have Tesla earnings coming up in a couple weeks. Would I long YM? Not for a broad long. I mean, if you're just longing it to get right there, sure. But not for a broad long. Are there green names mods? I don't know what that means. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the, some of you guys in the Discord. If you want to join, links in the description below. I'll continue to send out my PM trades if I take any. You know, protecting capital is more important than making money. Honestly, that's the first rule of trading. So nothing I could do about this type of price action here. There were a couple of maybe opportunities on like YM, but nothing really that stands out as too drastic. I'll also be putting my fresh stock buys in the Discord as well. We're up currently 56% on CELH, cash secure puts. And I sent out an alert for CELH yesterday as well. So nice to see it up. Price action on red folder days generally suck. Not really. Sometimes. Depends on what it is. But yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. And those of you in the Discord, I'll talk to you in the Discord. Peace.